or even though it is a kind of, sarcastic and maybe not even a serious question, but look, guys, we've been really clear about how we're spending the money, and it's something we're always going to be open with. And you'll actually see a tour of the new offices today. So good lead-in for, what's going to happen later.
Directon was asking just a bit, scrolled off, about how detailed the animations will be. The answer is that we're working on that. The animation system that you'll see in the game, if you're watching the gameplay footage, is very rudimentary at this point. It's not doing a lot of the things we want it to do. But we just need to get it to a point where it's adequately communicating the information of what's going on. So if you're seeing somebody, do a thrust that's going towards your head, that needs to be communicated through the animation system. It might not match up perfectly. It might not, parry perfectly where their swords actually make physical contact and push against each other with, kinematic physics. That's, very flashy and very cool and would be great to have. But what really needs to be focused on is just the conveyance of information. So long as we can have people looking at the game, not watching icons and bars and things, but actually looking at the characters doing their thing in the world and understanding what's happening, that's the level of information we need to get out of our animation system.
And that's, something else we've talked about the last couple of days that we'll talk about again later. What you guys are seeing in the builds, this is not the UI for the game. These are not the final animations from the game. These are things that we needed to put in really quickly to begin testing. Because that's the most important thing, is testing the engine, testing the networking, testing the rendering. And yeah, we could have spent weeks working on real abilities and working on the final animations and the UI, and that would have been a total friggin' waste of time, because that's not what we were focusing on then. You guys have already seen that we had almost 200 people in a month-old build, and they were happily running around, 200 people on bots, running around, and ran pretty good, didn't it? No crashes, pretty, I think reasonably impressive for a, brand new engine built by the team. The version we have now, even better. And, that's the key for us. It was to work on all the foundational stuff. Now that that is coming along nicely, we're making much faster progress on other things. So when you see, the live streaming today and tomorrow, remember, we're not talking about this as live streaming the game. We're talking about it as the game engine, and everything we're talking about here, whether it's the combat system or the crafting system later today, the magic system, that's all going in later. What's up there now is not even placeholder, really. It's test stuff. Oh, good. This is thanks for the good question, Gak. Will weapons thrown on the battlefield become objects in the battlefield like magic creations? Yep, that's what we want. So, you throw your throwing axe, well, you should be able to recover it, or somebody else should be able to recover it. I'd love to see it, and this is not something Ben and I have ever talked about, but I'd love to see somebody throw, the throwing axe at a giant, and a giant grab it and throw it back. I mean, that would be awesome, right? I mean, that'd be just so cool if you could intercept the attack, take the weapon that was thrown at you, and throw that back.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you see in movies a lot, but don't get translated into games because there's questions of ownership of a really expensive weapon that you throw, and if somebody else takes it, then do they have it? Do they own it? How does that work? So if we can work out something, it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think if somebody decides to throw, Excalibur, oh well, you shouldn't have thrown Excalibur. But if you do have, Jack Burton, right, Father? But if you do happen to throw, a throwing axe or a spear, should somebody be able to pick it up and then use it on you? I think that's for the win. Okay, guys, we've got about a minute to go. So we're going to look for one really, really good question, answer it, and then sign off the Q&A for now.
Yeah, if you want to talk about
Okay, so the winner for this last question is, will archery receive damage bonus from range and or elevation? And will archery have a realistic maximum range? So, even though we haven't worked on the archery system yet, that's a really good question. So we want archery to be, oh, I guess you'd say fantastically realistic. That, you know, we want it to make sense in this game. So things like elevation, things like, you know, a realistic range for this game, diminishing damage based on, you know, potentially the distance traveled, or based on, you know, the elevation of the arrow as it descended, you know, from the sky. Would we like to model that in? Absolutely. Will all of it make it? I don't know. But would we like to do something really cool, you know, with the archery system, more than just, you know, trying to emulate Hawkeye? The answer is, of course, yes. So that's it. You know, it was, as always, we thank you for your questions, for your interest, and for those who are our backers, for your support. I hope you enjoyed Ben's and my presentation. I know that Ben's already winning a whole lot of fans, you know, among our backers and maybe some non-backers. And as we've said before, with everyone who's part of City State, there's a reason why he's here. He went through a lot of interviews, a lot of questions, and you know, he's a really good guy and he's a really smart guy. And he's also the guy that I need, because if I was trying to do this all myself, we would be in deep trouble. So again, thank you, folks, and we will see you guys, you know, in our next, or my next, our next presentation. All right, bye.